What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here. As always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I was looking at my phone because it's crazy because I only have 21 minutes worth of film time left on here because it has been crazy this last 2 weeks. It's hard to believe it hasn't been 2 weeks ago that Mike McCarthy was not retained by the Dallas Cowboys, and we have literally been through the ringer. And finally, here after a Friday night 9:30 Eastern Time dump, have announced Brian Schottenheimer as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And it's been a whirlwind. Leo had actually said the first part of the week, he said, I looked really, really sick, and it seemed like I was just getting worn out. And I'll be honest with you, I have probably had more content to post in this past week than ever before. It has been literally insane that no matter what the Cowboys do, for as little work as they did in hiring Brian Schottenheimer, as crazy as it got, they didn't actually do, they did in-person interviews. Brian Schottenheimer and Robert Saleh, I believe. I don't know that Leslie Frazier came to the facilities. I don't know that he did. Did he? Kellen Moore was by Skype or Zoom call. When you think that the Jets did like 20 different interviews, the Bears had to do at least 10. They talked to old and new and everything else. They picked people's brains. That the Cowboys had 3 possibly in-person interviews. And the rest were just informal phone calls with people. To think that this is the highest valued franchise in any sport in the world, that they literally don't do their homework. My hope is that they go on a mission to do everything they can to make Brian Schottenheimer a winner. I hope that they recognize that they cannot win a Super Bowl by just drafting. Listening to Wade is so passionate. Wade has never been, he's not old enough to remember when the Cowboys won Super Bowls. And listening to Michael Irvin, I posted that video just a few minutes ago. But Michael Irvin went off on his channel, and he pointed out life expectancy, he said, was 100. Not really. Life expectancy, depending on if you're black or white, if you're a black man, about 68. Average person, about 75. And so you think about 30 years, you're almost to the midpoint of the average life expectancy. Half of a lifeline. A whole generation has not seen the Dallas Cowboys win. The ineptitude of not being to an NFC championship game this century. Now, I'm old. I had 35 years in the last century. 35 years where I saw all the Cowboys winning. I hope at some point I see that kind of success in this century. I don't know if I'll live long enough to see that, but that's my hope. And here's the problem, because see, Wade said our only hope is that we draft a generational talented quarterback. A generational talented quarterback that can overcome the Joneses. And you know what's funny? Actually, it's not funny, it's sad. Because I want to say the last guy they said that was a generational talented quarterback was Trevor Lawrence. was Trevor Lawrence. He's not enough to overcome Jacksonville's problems. Not even close. The generational one before that I can remember, was Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck wasn't enough to overcome the Jim Irsay, or the injuries, or the Colts. And so here's where I literally was sitting there, and an article came across with ESPN doing their rankings of 2024 rookie classes, the amount of production that teams got from their rookie classes. And see, this is where the Cowboys, they rely on everything coming from the rookie classes. We know that unlike the Eagles, that supplement their team with free agents and trades and moves to fill in the holes. The Cowboys, when they have a hole, they'll look at taking a player who may be playing in a different position and plugging him in. We don't have a linebacker? Heck, we'll take some spare parts we'll take a safety and make him a linebacker. When we don't have one technique, well, hell, we'll just take a tackle and make him a nose tackle. So, understanding that, then the Cowboys need to be lights out with their drafts. And you can look at the last couple of drafts and say, they've left you wanting a little bit. You can look and say Tyler Smith and Micah Parsons, those guys are studs. But we're not necessarily getting a lot of studs to go with those. Golston, he's a good piece. He's a good piece. You know, you look at Deron Bland, that was a good piece that came along with things. But typically, when you start thinking about like our second round picks, when we get Boss Man Fats and Sam Williams, who was injured this past year and made boneheaded mistakes, kind of like Randy Gregory or Schoonmaker, who, you know, he finally showed up some and stayed healthy a little bit this year. Or Mosley Smith, who he got better as the year went on. We end up getting rid of and letting go last year 9 starters. 3 of which are starters for a team that's playing in the NFC Championship game tomorrow. But we didn't replace them. We didn't replace them. Well, be honest, we replaced Cooper Beebe. And injuries also were part of the problem. So ESPN, their ranking for the amount of time played by our rookies class and their percentages, their win percentages, they ranked the Dallas Cowboys 19th. That means there's 18 teams that did better with their rookie class than the Dallas Cowboys, which were hit by injuries and needed their rookie classes to play, and also because we let go 9 starters. It was imperative that we would get a punch from our rookie class. Tyler Guyton, he got a lot of time on the field. He was basically ranked 30th in offensive tackle. Not where you need from your number 1 pick. Now, Cooper Beebe, he ranked up really well. Cooper Beebe was the best thing we had going from the draft this past year. No ifs, ands, or buts. Martez Lafufu, unfortunately, his season was derailed with the ACL. And beyond that, you didn't get enough. So the problem is going to be here is, we know how Stephen Jones when it comes to paying guys. Osa Odighizuwa, probably going to be too expensive. He's probably going to command about 12, 14 million. We know Catboy's not going to do that. Probably Rico will probably get about $7, $8 million, and we know Cowboys won't want to pay that. They didn't want to pay $8 million for Derrick Henry They're certainly not going to want to pay 6 or 7 for Rico. He'll probably go. Maybe they can hold on to Golston, but knowing Catboy, he'll probably go. And that means that your rookie class has to be day one starters to replace veteran starters. And that's not good. We're going to know within 2 months if it's business as usual and that Brian Schottenheimer is just brought here to be the fall guy, keep seat warm for Jason Witten, and maybe looking down the road to finally go all in or try and get Arch Manning. But the Cowboys, if they don't do more than they did, it's going to be the Dave Campos years. And I'm saddened to say that about what used to be the greatest franchise in football. Now, like Michael Irvin said, they need to rip that moniker off their back. You ain't America's team anymore, bro. You're not. You got the Texans right now passing you. And tomorrow is going to be a hellacious day for me. And I know all Cowboy Nation. Washington and the Eagles, one of those teams is going to the Super Bowl. You know, I always tell you guys to tell the people you love how much you love them. Because, like Dan Quinn said, tomorrow's not promised. Like Shannon Sharp said, every day you're writing your eulogy. Tell the people you love how much you love them. And I want to send prayers to Aisha Robinson, who I found out this evening, her mother passed. And I know she is devastated. And I want you to know we're all with you, Aisha. And hold your loved ones tight. See you tomorrow, Championship Sunday.